2018.
Yes.
That's when you started town management?
Yes. Well, I was in Bryson City for a year, so I started work there as their finance director and manager in December of 16. And before that was in Franklin for almost a half decade before jumping on board. And I always wanted to manage. That was my ultimate goal. So
What'd you do in Franklin?
I was their de facto assistant manager, but I was also, like I am here, their clerk and HR, did all that fun work that nobody really wants to do.
Town management sounds like this big scary term to me.
It's not. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
It sounds cool on paper,
Yeah.
but when you get into the thick of the details, it's there's not much to it. We have it's cliche to say, but we do have a great team. We have probably one of the best fire departments in the state. I can say that almost subjectively too. So you look at how they're rated, the criteria. We're a Class 3 fire department. With the resources we have, we're probably one of the outliers. Well, no, not probably, we are.
Yeah.
A positive outlier, which I'm proud of, and our community should be proud of. They don't just serve the city, but they serve nearly a 27 square mile district called Murphy Rural.
What puts them above the rest? Certifications?
People. So they have people who believe in what they do. It was a profession that many of them pursued. It's not an 8 to 5 job, so they take it home with them. They live and breathe it, bleed it. It's in their DNA, many of them. So they don't just accept anybody either. So if you want to be, they'll be happy to take any application, evaluate you as a part-time. We need all we can get, but you have to meet certain criteria and a want to, and you have to put in the work. So they don't take people that respond 2%, 5% of all calls. There's a higher standard here.
I have a close friend
Good.
that recently became a member, and he has had good things to say.
Alex,
Alex.
great member, great person. So sorry.
So I've been curious about the beginning. And before we get too far, we are in City Hall. You see the videos on Facebook, and they're in here sometimes. What all goes on in here?
This is where the Town of Murphy Town Council, so every month they're required to have one meeting to conduct regular business. That is to approve the previous month's regular meeting minutes, any tax releases, and any new business that needs to be conducted, like amending the parking and traffic schedule, or their water and sewer ordinance, or any type of, this upcoming week, they're meeting for their first Monday in August, and they're going to consider amendment to the solicitation ordinance.
Sounds riveting.
Yeah, panhandlers and
Yeah.
solicitors. There's been some issues that have emerged throughout our community where folks are knocking on people's doors, saying
I've seen
they're
that.
providing these services.
Yeah.
And it's definitely suspect, it's suspicious, and I think they're most likely trying to take advantage of folks that are older.
Okay.
And we're just trying to be a little bit more proactive. And I think this ordinance will ensure that we can be. If you want to be a good citizen, an entrepreneur, you'll be proactive and try to study up on the local laws and regulations. All of it's published on the Town of Murphy website. That's www.townofmurphync.com. You'll see a link. It says the online code of ordinances. That is all of our laws and regulations. Also our charter, how our elections are held, our style of management, our council management form of government is published there in the charter. That just means that the board, the mayor, and town council appoint a manager who oversees the day-to-day operations, and it's not a strong mayor form of government. In North Carolina and most of the United States, cities have gotten away from that style of management to promote better government.
So what are you referencing, a strong mayor?
So a strong mayor, it's another form of saying the mayor would run the day-to-day.
Oh, I
And
see.
in North Carolina, that would be your mayor-council form of government. So they may have an administrator, but the mayor has statutory authority to hire, fire, and depending on what discretion that council gives them, even sign checks.
Okay.
So
This ordinance that you can find online, is it easy to understand if I'm reading it without, any law degree or anything like that? Can I read it and feel comfortable with my understanding?
yes,
In your opinion?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think I think most of our, with the exception of water and sewer, because that's a different animal entirely. But in terms of parking and traffic schedules and where panhandlers can go and getting a permit to reserve a space on the sidewalk to proselytize your religion, espouse your views, all that's really on an 8th grade level. Going back to your original question, where would an ordinance or law or an amendment to laws, where does that even start? It starts with sometimes it's complaint driven, where we can't respond to a certain issue because we don't have the authority to do so. Other times it can be a council member sees a gap, a need, and they want management to look into it. So I would consult our attorney. Do we have authority to do anything to resolve this issue, to be more proactive? How much discretion does the state of North Carolina give us? And it's pretty much a home rule state. We only have the power that the state of North Carolina says we do.
Before I forget, I want to just kind of, Chad Simons is, late teenage years, went to school. What did it look like coming up? How did you get into management? It seems like you have to say the word tax a lot.
Yeah. I think I hate talking about myself, Jesse, but I was kind of the strange kid to where when I was 6, 7, 8, I was watching like Tom Brokaw nightly news, and that's what interested me.
Yeah.
Most of my peers were watching cartoons, which I enjoyed as well, but I was just interested in that. That I can't explain. It's just kind of part of me.
Yeah.
So just
Is it?
national issues, state issues. I've always read the newspapers growing up, loved it, still do. I love the old-fashioned print editions. So I just like knowing what's going around locally, regionally.
But you're
Yeah.
watching Tom Brokaw
Yeah.
as you're playing with your Lincoln Logs.
Yeah, and I just think I think most people gravitate to fields of interest that sort of they enjoy. We all want to pursue occupations that have meaning, and that's sort of why I opted for this career path. I felt like I could make, and it sounds like complete BS, but it is true. I feel like especially at the local level, where you don't have to deal with all the nonsense, polarized politics. It's just, there's nothing partisan about paving potholes and, installing a water meter.
Right.
There's nothing political about that, but
It's service.
it's certainly important. You have to have clean water. You have to have sewer. All those are essential, and I enjoy the work I do. And so that's sort of very early on in college. I went to Western Carolina, received my undergraduate degree there, studied political science and history. I wanted to get in local government and be a manager, and almost all town managers went to App State because they have a strong network there. Their graduate students get jobs. So that's where I went. And then studied at the UNC Chapel Hills Business School. I want to do a good job here. I love Murphy. I didn't grow up here. You didn't ask this, but I think it's important that...
I'd like to know.
Yeah, so I grew up in Franklin. Graduated, I'm a Franklin Panther. I still root for Franklin when we play Murphy. I'm not gonna lie, but
We'll edit that.
people will not like hearing that, but it's just true. I think as my kid, if they are lucky and fortunate enough to grow up here and go through the school system, that might change.
What do you enjoy about managing a town? Manager.
Again, it's going to sound like BS, but I mean this sincerely. There are a lot of good people here. I am fortunate to be able to help those people if for even basic questions. Hey, what's the zoning for this property? Can I build this on this property? What do I need to do to get a zoning permit or a building permit? So basic questions like that. In terms of what I enjoy the most, I love managing our water and sewer system.
Really?
On the financial side of it. It's a huge challenge. There's a lot of fixed costs associated with doing it. Our system's very old. So
When you say system, how big does system look?
so the water system goes all the way to Motler Road. West, it stops at Spur 60. And this way, it goes all the way to 141, just Hendricks Road.
Yeah.
That intersection, just think of Moog.
Yeah.
So it kind of stops there.
Okay. This is actual pipes underground. This is the Murphy water system.
That's right. Sewer, it goes to the casino.
Was that built for them? Was that added?
They had to construct a 16-inch force main and a lift station that you'd probably drive by every day.
Oh, right at that retaining wall.
Yeah, and their force main crosses Roger West Bridge, travels all the way in town, passing Walgreens, Wells Connector, turns into Gravity in Conahita Park. It goes to the Rock Gym, that lift station, and from there it's pumped to the Payne Street Boat Ramp lift station. And that number 1 lift station at the Payne Street Boat Ramp pumps all the wastewater from the town of Murphy to the sewer plant at the end of Payne Street. And we treat it and discharge it back into the Hiwassee River.
So do most town managers, are they as involved with finances as you are here?
Every town manager is their unit's respected budget officer, which means they have to submit the annual budget proposal to the town council and implement that budget. So once that's adopted, it's the budget law. And as the budget officer, you have to ensure that you adhere to you don't exceed appropriations in each fund. And if you need more money, or we get hit with the recession like we did in '08 and sales taxes plummet, you make appropriate budget amendments to adjust for the lack of revenue coming in. So it always has to be balanced by law. The town owns the ABC store, but they're a separate entity entirely. So, and that revenue is pretty crucial. It helps us operate our police department.
Does it get partitioned different ways throughout the town's funds?
It goes to the general fund.
The general fund?
The general fund is the big pot that most people would be familiar with. Police, fire, sanitation, streets, recreation, library, all those services are funded through the general fund. So, and that's our biggest revenue source is ad valorem property tax. Our second largest source is the local sales tax, which the county levies, but we still get a large portion of. And the state divvies that out based on a formula. Most of it's like per cap. It's based on population. So if you have several towns within your county, like Cherokee County does, it's divided based on the population count. Behind that, it's the TVA in lieu. The TVA gives us approximately $75,000 a year. Our ABC store, usually it's driven by sales, of course. Business is always good for them, seemingly. So,
yeah.
We can usually depend upon between $200,000 to $400,000 annually.
Wow.
For a $2.3 million budget, that's a significant revenue source. So regardless of what you think of alcohol, and I think,
I'm trying to think of a joke.
yeah, opposing side. I mean,
The rum paid for the roundabout?
No. That's a good one.
We'll say
though.
that works.
So the roundabout was the North Carolina Department of Transportation project that the town council, there was a feasibility study that was completed in 2018. Mayor Rick Ramsey, who was the mayor from 2017 to 21, he asked NCDOT to say, hey, we just have a lot of parking issues, a lot of traffic complaints, primarily from large trucks parking in downtown and people.
And I believe it was a problem.
It certainly was, and the data could back that up. That project was driven from that study, and they said the roundabout would be the most efficient, safest way to move traffic through town. They said it would improve parking as well, make it safer. But the DOT paid for all that, and most of us pay state tax, so state income tax. But the state of North Carolina paid for that project, so no town of Murphy general fund dollars
Yeah.
had to go toward it, which is good.
Well, we're lucky that it has been received so well. I love it.
So personally, and I'm not afraid to say it, I live in downtown, so I have to navigate the roundabout fairly often, and I'm like you. I love it.
I thought about this earlier when you were talking about townships and towns and municipalities, and I felt bad because I didn't know what that was, a municipality. What is that?
It's town.
How many in Cherokee County, that was one of the real questions I was going to ask, what does it take to be recognized as a town? Murphy is a town, Andrews is a town, Hiwassee Dam's not a town, but it's an area. What does it take to be recognized as a town?
To be incorporated as a municipality by the state of North Carolina, I think there's one service you have to offer, and I believe it's streets.
Streets.
Street service, and you have to levy some type of tax, I believe.
The town, how many does it employ at a maintenance level?
Not enough.
Not enough.
So we have 2 full-time employees at our sewer plant. We now have 4 water treatment plant operators. Our water treatment plant is behind the hospital. So we actually get our water from the Hiwassee River, treat it, and then pump it out of the Peachtree tank. We have 5 separate distribution tanks. We just hired another operator to give us 4.
And this is at the water treatment?
Water treatment plant. Their days are getting a lot longer with the recent Casito expansion, so they're having to produce a lot more water than they used to. So,
does producing more water simply mean more man hours?
It does.
Yeah.
You have to have a licensed, certified treatment plant operator anytime you're making water using chemicals. They have to be there.
On site. Okay.
Correct.
So you got 4 there up in the Peachtree area.
2 at sewer plant, and then we have 5 in maintenance, what we call public works. And they maintain 60 miles of water lines and over 30 miles of gravity sewer and force mains for our sewer system, on top of streets, recreation, and all the other work orders that we throw at them.
That's a big ask.
It is. It is. We need more, but we try to be as efficient as we can.
The town recently got, we'll just call it a garbage truck, that's what it is. Those employees that operate it, are they included in what we were talking about? Which I guess they wouldn't be maintenance necessarily, but
That's actually a really good question. So that's also unique to Murphy in a lot of sense, in a lot of ways, because our sanitation is paid out of the general fund. We don't impose fees on residents to provide that service. It's built into the tax base.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way. I won't say it's sacrosanct, but I know my bosses are proud that we can do that. But I don't remember what Bryson City's total property valuation is or was, but in Murphy it's about $290 million. So that tax base is large enough to where we can have a sanitation fund within the general fund for about $140,000, $150,000 annually.
On a day-to-day,
It's so boring though, isn't it, Jesse?
Oh,
Isn't
no.
all this boring?
no, on a random Tuesday, what all does Chad have his hands in? Sanitation, water, sewer? How many emails are you sending? What's your day-to-day?
A lot of emails. Most mornings are spent reading the emails that come in
Yeah.
and responding accordingly. We have a lot of grant projects that are underway right now.
I know there's a big project going on in town.
That's right. We also have some water and sewer grants as well. And
That's what I was going to ask you.
and they're still sort of not in limbo, but we're just waiting on some federal red tape
Is this improvements?
improvements.
I know that you mentioned earlier that the system, in your opinion, was old. Yeah.
Very.
How old? Do you know?
So the water lines we replaced in downtown were installed in the 1910s.
Oh,
So
okay, that seems old.
old, very old.
Yeah. So day to day, answering emails, I'm sure you're doing a lot of coordinating with the employees of those locations.
You do. You try to be as proactive as possible with the work orders that you submit to Public Works. If new connections for water and sewer, I'm usually the first person that someone would come see. I'll evaluate it. If I have a question about the size of a water line, I'll contact staff.
That sounds very intimidating. Let's say if I wanted to build in the city limits, have to face the idea of trying to hook up to city water and sewer. How streamlined is it? How much does the public need to provide you to get that approval?
So we made a few changes with how we impose our TAP and what we call capacity fees. Our TAP fees those costs have remained fairly constant. We just recuperate the cost that it takes our staff to purchase the water meter,
Yeah.
the setter, all the supplies that it takes to actually set that water meter and make sure it reads appropriately.
Yeah.
And also the equipment and staff time to actually go out and make the tap.
Okay.
So there could be depth surcharges if the water line, for whatever reason, is typically not for water, but some of our gravity sewer is very, very deep. So if we have to tap into that, you're gonna have to pay more if we have to dig 10, 12 feet.
Yeah.
And need a trench box,
Right.
for example. The capacity fees are something that the state of North Carolina makes us review and approve every 5 years. And towns call them different things. It's capacity fees, system development fees, but it's pretty much the cost associated with hooking onto the system and the capacity that new customer will take.
Okay.
So for us, we have our water plant capacity is 2 million gallons a day. That's
Wow.
what we're permitted to actually make. Our sewer plant is 1.4 million gallons a day. That's what we're permitted to accept and discharge in the Hiwassee River. So if you're a new customer, you got to think of it this way. You have all these existing customers that have pretty much paid for the CIP, these capital improvements over the years, and as a new customer, you get the benefit of all those assets.
Yeah.
So the town council, and I think it's certainly equitable, decided to impose fees, what we call system development fees, and it sort of proportional to buy-in method.
Okay.
So they're pretty much ensuring that they pay their fair share on what ratepayers have paid on for years.
Yeah.
And it varies based on, those fees are assessed based on the number of bedrooms in a single-family home for sewer. If it's a restaurant, it's the number of seats.
1.4 million a day at the sewer plant?
Yeah.
Would it ever get even close to that?
Yeah, so anytime it rains, which it looks like it's about to do,
Yeah.
we have, because our sewer system is so ancient, and we're not alone in that, by the way. Most sewer systems across the nation
Yeah.
are the same position we're in. So it's not like Murphy's unique there.
Yeah.
It's just old. But when it rains, we have a lot of stormwater that was installed a long
Yeah,
time ago.
I'm gonna say
and
something.
A lot of gutters.
Stop throwing your trash in the gutter.
Yeah, a lot of
'Cause that's where it goes, right?
Some of these older homes, gutters that are still tied into our sewer system, so all that stormwater runoff gets into our sewer system, but we have to treat it regardless. So
How do you separate the obvious liquid if you have an influx of precipitation run from the thousands of cigarette butts or
yeah,
you know, or-
it goes back to that solids issue I talked about that was largely responsible for that sewer line failure at the Forest Service.
yeah.
So to be a little bit more proactive to ensure that never happened again, we installed a bar screen
Okay.
right before that lift station, so it pretty much traps all the solids. And we have to sort of rake them out, dispose of them in a dumpster. We have another one at the Cherokee County Jail.
Yeah.
You'd be really, really surprised prior to that bar screen what we would have to pull out of manholes below the jail. It was, I mean, you're talking about uniforms,
Yeah.
towel, I mean, you name it.
You'd
They
probably
pull-
find an inmate in there.
just Potentially, potentially. I was shocked. Our guys, I mean, it was a weekly occurrence prior to that bar screen construction to where they called it the honeydew hole. They'd have to go to that manhole below the jail and ensure all the solids were pulled out. Otherwise, you're going to have sanitary sewer overflow.
Yeah.
It's going to back up sewer and it's going to come out. So, yeah. How do we keep the rest of the solids? Because we don't have bar screens throughout the collection system.
Yeah.
There's a big, huge bar screen at the headworks. So before that wastewater goes into each of our SBR tanks, sequential basin reactor sewer plant. That's the style model
Okay.
of the sewer plant that we have, and there's a lot of lingo to it and science behind it. But it's a fast process, and all happens in one tank. All of the treatment process happens there. But there's a large bar screen that traps all of those solids that you're talking about before it enters those tanks. And our operators have to rake it out, put it in a dumpster, and dispose of it. So,
Haul it off.
yeah.
So it's just as terrible as it sounds.
It probably even more so.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty stuff.
Getting a little bit negative here. In your opinion, is there anything that you would say that is holding Murphy back?
The biggest issue is our sewer plant.
Really?
So it's no secret. I talk about it almost every month at our board meetings. We're going to have to figure out a way to modernize it and expand it because we're growing quickly, and you don't want to be in a situation to where.
So when you say growing quickly, no, I'm interrupting you, but are you saying number, population, or are you talking about business, or are you talking about tourist flow?
Both.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
We're growing rapidly, regardless of what you think about that. Well, we can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think we can. We can just say, hey, go back.
Yeah.
Don't move here. It doesn't work that way.
Right. This is America.
It's the United States of America, and property rights are taken seriously.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying the sewer plant is too small, too old, too ineffective?
It's not as big as it needs to be for the growth that's coming our
Okay.
way. So
Are you privy to growth, what's the word I'm looking for? Growth in the future. I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
yeah, so
Projections.
typically for a large-scale development and where they think they might need water and sewer, we'll get those. If they're doing their due diligence, they have to contact us.
Yeah.
They have to know that we have the capacity. They have to know where our infrastructure is located. So, their design can incorporate water and sewer extensions and any other infrastructure that they have to construct and build to ensure they get access to our infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we actually just did a pretty major project. It's called a preliminary engineering report to evaluate, I'm using that term, feasibility,
Yeah.
but what would be the most effective, efficient way for a sewer plant to expand.
Okay.
So we took the first step in that process. And right now we're at about 50, 60%, depending on the day.
Yeah.
The casino's sort of changing things. There's no reason to panic, but we billed them for more water, over 2 million gallons of water that they used this last billing period. So it was a substantial increase from their normal
Wow.
consumption, and it's because of their expansion, the new hotel,
Yeah.
restaurant. So we have to make. They're a customer.
Yeah.
So when they turn their water taps on, just like anyone else, they expect it to be there.
Yeah. A little bit more lighthearted. What's Murphy's biggest strength?
It's people.
Yeah.
Again, cliche, sounds like BS, but there's a lot of good people here. Most of them you're never going to hear about because it's just not the Scotch-Irish way of being in the limelight and wanting to take credit for stuff. There's a lot of good people who do a lot of good things on a daily basis, and you'll never hear about it.
Yeah.
They're ubiquitous around here. They're everywhere. Nature. So just what God's given us, you know, in terms of, you know, not many communities have a river walk. How many people can go to downtown and walk or ride your bike on a nature trail and see two rivers converge, you know, like the Valley and Owasso rivers along our river walk? Not many communities can say they have that.
I agree. The Four Corners here in town, there's a lot going on. Looks like we got a stage being built,
We do.
concrete stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's the plans for the Four Corners?
new sidewalks, pretty much the landscaping is going to be beautiful with perennials and
Yeah.
associated. And of course, lighting.
Lighting.
Lighting's going to be very, very nice. And brick pavers. We have a new brick paver pattern, and all of the pocket parks are getting the same treatment, the same facelift. They'll be cohesive. We'll have a Town of Murphy Square.
Yeah.
It's going to look really nice. I think it's something that we'll be proud of for a very long time.
Okay.
So,
Now, is this town funds?
very small portion of it is
Okay.
paid for with town. Most of it is coming from federal money from the American Rescue Act. So $650,000 is coming from the American Rescue Act that was funneled through states for projects like this, and another $250,000 is of state money
Okay.
is coming our way for this project.
Yeah.
And we're footing the rest, but most of it's paid for with grant money.
All said and done, what does a project look like that, numbers wise?
1.2 million is
Okay.
the construction is a construction contract for Caldwell Construction.
Yeah.
So that's the contractor we hired to do the work. And so far so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's starting to look good.
yeah,
I just hope Artie doesn't fall over.
yeah, me too.
But,
Me too, for their sake, right?
Yeah. In closing, say someone wants to be more involved, just a normal resident like myself. What would you recommend? They want to know more about what's going on with town. Are any of these meetings open? These town council meetings?
All the meetings are open to the public by
Just
law.
anybody can walk in.
Yes, sir.
And what are they posted beforehand? Do they know the
are.
times?
So all of our meeting schedules published online. We always meet the first Monday of the month. If that changes, we have to notify the public.
What's that notification look like?
It would be a alert sent to your email or text, and also published in the Cherokee Scout.
Okay.
That hasn't changed in years.
So first Monday of every month, and if it's looking like it's not going to be the case, then you are required to notify.
We are. Our regular meetings are always the first Monday of the month at 5. The agenda is always sent out the Friday before the meetings. And that's something new that we've done since I've been the manager. You know, we try to make sure everything's accessible on the website in terms of the business they're going to be considering, and if there's an ordinance, a new law. This ordinance is just a local law. If there's an amendment to an ordinance or a law or any type of budget that they're going to consider, we try to attach that to the meeting agenda so people can review, read it. As you know now, our code of ordinances is published online. Anyone can read it at any time. It's not even that lengthy. I get to ask you a question, right?
You get to ask me a question.
All right,
This is
good.
a new thing.
Good. So if you had the power and the
Are
resources.
we talking authority?
Power and authority
Power and authority, okay.
to resolve one issue or improve something in Cherokee County, what would it be?
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, right?
If I could, wow. I'm going to say that the most detrimental issue currently, and it's not only for Cherokee County, it's nationwide, is a drug epidemic. And I think if drug epidemic was solved, obviously you can't just solve it. I think it ties into human nature.
No doubt.
And
It's definitely systemic.
yeah, but if you could somehow solve the problem of supply and demand, if you could solve the problem of this indecision about the correct way to tackle it, if it's, I feel like maybe there's controversy around what is addiction? Is it chemical? Is it psychological? Does it come from, a bad childhood? Does it come from a disorder? Is addiction a disease? Is anyone capable of being addicted to something? And I feel like a lot of those discussions, while valid and me being too ignorant to really understand them all, I think they may detract from the big issue that is still happening. So if I could solve that, if I could institute something that would put people on the road to recovery, what's the word that I'm looking for, where they don't relapse?
Yeah,
they're
rehabbed appropriately,
Yeah.
and reduce recidivism from
Recidivism.
Yeah.
But if they could, I think that's probably the largest issue, because I think it adds to a lot of other issues. I think if you have drug use, and then I think you have homeless situations. I think you have unhoused people. Then I think you have people that are just kind of hanging out, walking around in town, which isn't inherently bad, but it can lead to some issues. I'm sure that there have been businesses in town where some not so savory people have tried to hang out. I know that the library has had issues.
Correct.
And we could probably get on Facebook and talk about the homeless shelter and converse all night.
No, we certainly could.
But I do think that addiction and the ability to buy what you need, I don't know how that works. Luckily, I've never been addicted to any drugs, but they're obviously able to get it from somewhere. I don't know what it looks like to solve it, but if I could, I would.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are asking the same questions that you
Yeah.
are, and we'd love to resolve it. We are experimenting at the police department with Western Carolina University's community care program. So we are partnering with them to hire a social worker
Okay.
to respond to non-traditional calls for someone that's experiencing some type of substance abuse or mental health problem. We're going to explore that. So Silva, the town of Silva's had tremendous success with their community care program, to where they're actually funding a full-time position.
Really?
She responds to calls, those non-traditional calls. I've talked about it. North Carolina PBS actually sent a reporter to follow them, run calls with them. There's a nice little YouTube video you can find about that. But
This is in Silva.
Silva,
Okay.
and that was sort of the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Silva is based in Western Carolina University, so Dogwood helped kind of jumpstart it with some
Yeah.
funding, but their police chief speaks volumes about the program. He was skeptical about it. He didn't really get the buy-in from his staff. They were also skeptical. I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
They're not sworn. They have power of their arrest. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
There's just going to be a burden that we're going to have to babysit.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the case.
Wasn't.
So,
Well, that's inspiring to hear that
Yeah.
it has found success.
hopefully, we can get that program up and running here.
What's the timeline on something like
We're
that?
actually getting a new intern in August,
Oh.
so next month.
So, if they do respond to a call, what would be the parameters? Like, hey, we need that new intern for this call.
Yeah, so there's a lot of policies and procedures, and our first intern pretty much just laid that foundation down.
Yeah.
But all that's coordinated with our police chief, our assistant police chief. We can't just turn them loose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of that's really kind of judgment calls. And once they're comfortable enough and feel like they sort of know our community well enough, and our police department or police leadership deems it safe enough, they'll sort of make those calls.
Okay.
And eventually, hopefully, we can get to the point to where a call comes through dispatch and it's a nonviolent call for someone that's just having a mental health
Yeah.
issue, and they would respond. That, in essence, frees up patrol time to where they can actually respond as needed elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they're not tied up with, it takes 3, 4, often a long time to do involuntary commitments.
Yeah.
So, where someone's just being committed,
Yeah.
right, or just having issues similar like that. So that's resources that we don't have on the streets, patrolling, being proactive and deterring crime. So we'll see how it goes. I'll be,
I'm excited
Yeah.
to see how that turns out. I'm excited and skeptical about the reception.
yeah, I think that's okay. I think we all are to a certain extent.
No, I think skepticism isn't necessarily, it's not disparaging. I think it's important to have many views.
I agree. And
But it's also important to listen. We got to
It is.
listen.
Yes, listen, learn, be
gotta
open-minded. Be open-minded. Western Carolina, they're sending some professors to do that quantitative, qualitative research in Murphy, because that's something they didn't do in Silva. They didn't have any benchmarks
Oh, yeah.
to measure outcomes. So they'll have sort of the status quo outcomes before this starts taking off, and we'll be able to measure our progress based on, hey, are we actually freeing up their time?
Yeah.
And that'll help the town council ultimately make a decision about whether the program's worth funding.
Okay. How long's that trial look?
So this next intern will be with us for a year.
Okay. It's a pretty
So,
healthy amount of time, I feel like.
So,
Yeah, I'd be curious to know how many calls they had in that time.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Thank you, Jesse.
This has
It's a
been
pleasure.
This has been, don't take this the wrong way. This has been more interesting than I thought it would
Well,
be.
good. I
I like you.